Hi, here at Front Porch Farm, I thought it'd be good to show you how we start our tomato plants, and I have some that I'm going to be transplanting today. We plant them in these 1-inch plugs and use just peat to plant in. They don't suggest using any type of potting soil for that. So that is where they will grow, and I don't bother even fertilizing them since I'm going to be transplanting them at such a young stage. They, as you can see, are plenty green and healthy without any fertilizer. I did keep them moist, not soggy. You can see though that there's some spots that didn't germinate, maybe were too wet. They definitely didn't germinate evenly. So it's just the nature of the seeds and how deep they were planted. And these I just would level off the peat, place a seed on each one and just push it in very slightly and keep it moist. Covered it with plastic until they begin to germinate, and then took the plastic off. Now I've read that the tomatoes can be transplanted when their first true leaf appears, which is right there. And then some of them say when the first 2 true leaves appear. So this one's actually getting its 3rd, but I have done them very tiny, and it really doesn't seem to matter. The main thing you want to remember when you're transplanting tomatoes is to go clear up to the leaves. And some of the books also say to take off the first leaves. I don't bother. I just plant them clear up to the leaf. So what I do is I take some potting soil. This is some that we made with the Johnny's recipe for the soil blocks, and I just fill it and level it off, and then I transplant the same size tomatoes in each of the 4 packs so that they're growing at the same rate. And I will do the ones that are larger right now and show you that, see, that stem is pretty long, and these pots, to get that stem totally under, I can do my hole slanted and put the tomato in and go ahead and lay that stem down and get it totally under the soil, because that's going to provide more room for roots. The roots will go ahead and come off of that stem and give you a really nice healthy root system. See that these didn't all grow at the same rate, and not even all of them even germinated. But this way you will get your plants growing nicely all at the same rate. And if you go back and forth too, then you kind of separate the tomatoes for their growing room. So slant this in, press it in just nice and firmly, not too tight. Give that soil just a little pat around. And these tomatoes do really well after transplanting. They grow very quickly. So that's ready. I'm just using a nut picker because it has a little bit of a hook on it to grab these and pull them out. This time we'll do some of the smaller tomatoes. So I'll just fill my container. And I'll even take a little guy here. Poke the hole. Down in it goes. And it's amazing how well tomatoes do with transplanting. They don't mind it at all. Tomatoes do best if you can transplant, again, after these outgrow this pot. Then I'll do them one more time before they get planted in the greenhouse. And they're going to take off and grow really nicely in the swarm room. When you plant for germination, you want the tomato seeds to have about 75 to 90 degrees to germinate, and then for growing on about 70 to 80 degrees is what we do. This room is usually right around 80 degrees, so basically they germinate and grow at the same temperature, and then of course I harden them off before I put them out. So then I have just a little spray nozzle that's very gentle for seedlings, and we will give these just a gentle spray, kind of clean the plant of any dirt that got on it, the potting soil, and give them just a nice gentle soaking slowly so that the soil doesn't run. And that's about all it takes to get that wet and get them back under the grow lights. You can wait a half a day before you put them under the grow lights again, just to give them a little bit of time to get established and not be shocked. I just make my tags out of the big yogurt containers, and be sure that you tag each of these little 4-packs so that you know what variety of tomato that you have in them. These tomatoes were transplanted about a week ago, and they were a lot smaller than the ones that I showed you today. So it isn't really critical at what point that you transplant them. They just need to be done, and they will take off. And again, I will be transplanting these out of the 4-packs into 4-inch pots to get them growing on before we plant or sell them. So thanks. Hope you have a great tomato crop.